Dear students of class 9, good morning students. Today we will read the remaining part of the story, chapter 4 of your moment book. The title of the story is In the Kingdom of Fools. At last, the goldsmith says that I am not responsible for this killing. The rich merchant was responsible. Because of him, an innocent man was killed. Then the king asked him, can you name that merchant? The goldsmith named the merchant, and he was none other than the original owner of the house whose wall had fallen. Now justice has come full circle, thought the kings. Back to the merchant. When he was rudely summoned back to the court, he arrived carrying, it wasn't me, but my father who ordered the jewelry. He is dead, I am innocent. The goldsmith named the merchant, and it was the same merchant whose wall had fallen onto the thief and killed him. Then the king said, justice will be done now. The rich merchant was called to the king's court. He arrived there. Then he started shouting. He said, it was not me, my father ordered, my father who ordered the jewelry. He is dead. I am an innocent person. But the king consulted his minister and ruled decisively. It is true, your father is the true murderer. He is dead, but somebody must be punished to his place. You have inherited everything from that criminal father of yours, his riches as well as his sins. I knew at once, even when I first set eyes on you, that you were at the root of the horrible crime. You must die. Then king consulted, that means talked to his ministers, what will be done next. Then he came to the conclusion, it is true that your father is the murderer, is the real murderer, but he is not alive. Somebody has to be punished in place of your father. As you got your father's property, then you will have to share his property as well as his bad work. I knew at once when I saw you, and you are the root cause of this crime, and you will be punished accordingly. You must die. And he ordered a new stake to be made ready for the execution. As the servant sharpened the stake and got it ready for the final impaling of the criminal, it occurred to the minister that the rich merchant was somehow too thin to be properly executed on the stake. He appealed to the king's common sense. The king too worried about it. An order was passed to make a stake for the execution of the rich merchant. The serpent started sharpening the stake to be ready to execute the criminal, and suddenly a thought came to the minister's mind. The rich merchant was too thin to be executed on this stake. Then he requested the king, and the king, when the king heard, he became very worried about it. He had no idea what to do next. What shall we do, he says. He said, when suddenly it struck him that all they need to do was to find a man fat enough to feed the stake. The servants were immediately sent all over the town looking for a man who would be feed the stake, and their eyes fell on the disciple who had fattened himself for months on bananas and rice and wheat and ghee. Now the king was confused. He thought what to do next. Suddenly an idea come to his mind. He told his men to search the fat man who lives in the city. The servant were sent, and at last the servant saw the disciple who had become very fat after eating bananas, rice, wheat and ghee over the months. Student, the remaining part of the story we will study in our next video. Thank you very much for watching this video.